And good evening, everybody. Once again, welcome back. I'm glad to have you back on. Hope that you all enjoyed another beautiful day that our Father has given to us. And now, as we wrap up the evening, wanted to come back on so that we can get another video to you guys. We have, before I go further, let me say for all of you who are new to the channel, if you click on the username, go to our channel page, click on video, the drop down menu, click on number 68. You'll see a video, one short, one long. They will actually explain what this channel is all about. For those of you who are not new to the channel, welcome back. And this video is for educational and informational purposes only. That said, we're going to jump right on in. I have a few things that I need to bring to you all as far as announcements, updates, but let me let you all know that we have with us once again our brother and our friend, our very own Brother Perry is going to join us once again on the line. How's it going with you, sir?
Very well. Greetings and salutations, family. Happy to be here.
It's good to have you back on with us.
Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. We have a few individuals that, as you all may know, that send us updates if there's changes to things or things that look kind of out of whack or out of order, out of line. And I want to touch on those things first. Out of respect to these individuals, I want to show you all that I appreciate what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're sending. And for whatever reason, some individuals would like me to touch on the information that they're giving. So let me add that these next few items that we're going to talk about, I have not yet confirmed, but I have heard some of these reports or similar to these reports from a few others. But again, it's not confirmed. The individuals that are sharing this information, they are on standby, and they will confirm this information later after other things unfold. But because of their predicament, because of the position that they may be in, because of who they currently are with their titles, their positions, and their current standings within the organization, they simply don't want to disclose their identity as of yet. So anyway, the first thing is in Washington, D.C., convocation there, after the ball game, there was someone that overheard Mr. Cunningham yelling at the maid that travels with him. And while yelling, he stated that it seemed as if his wife made a comment, and whatever that comment was seemed to have ignited him even further. And he began yelling louder and harder, what presumed to be towards the maid.
Wow.
Yeah. The individual said that the person felt so bad, their heart went out to the maid. They're just passing by. They can't do anything, but their heart went out. Said as they were continuing to make their way, the young lady actually came out the room. And they saw that they smiled and kind of made their way quickly to the elevator. That was news to me because, again, we know that Memorial Day weekend he was staying in a hotel, right? So why do you all think, what do you think is going on here? That he's staying in hotels instead of at any of the properties there in Washington? I understand he has a home that was um, built there in Maryland, and that has been confirmed. Um, not too far from the house that Mr. Bailey built. Uh, in fact, it was also said that that house was built while he was the pastor of 6 and M Street. Um, yeah, but to be staying in the hotels whenever he's in Washington. Um, anyway, let me bring some more information back as soon as I can get some more information and see exactly what's going on there. We do know that cameras have been installed on the inside and on the outside of 6 and M Street, the House of Prayer 601. Monitors as well. Individuals thought that this was being done for the services, for the members to enjoy the services. However, people have seen that the cameras, again, on the outside of the exterior of the building. Um, and the report is that there is an extension of the headquarters, the staff at headquarters. There's a new department, and it's that department that is working out of 601 M Street. I've been talking about 601 on the third floor above the Paradise Cafeteria. But that's been, again, shared that that's a new department. I don't have details on exactly what the responsibilities or obligations are, but that was shared with me. Also, that the staff has always been at Portal Drive. They never actually left. It was the new department that's over there now at 601 M Street. However, last week, the staff at Portal Drive has been relocated. And apparently, the individuals that are in touch with us, they don't know where they've been relocated, but they do know that they are relocated.
Oh, I thought they had been relocated to 601 M Street, so they don't know where they're relocated to.
Right. There's a
Oh,
new
okay.
department, apparently, in addition to the staff that was already there. And this new department is at 601 Elm Street. And this is what I too thought was the old staff. Turns out that these are new personnel, but they are a part of the staff at headquarters, except it's just a new department, and they themselves work out of 601. And that is why, in my opinion, that there's now surveillance around and inside of 601 M Street. And the staff that's at Portal Drive, apparently, again, they've been relocated as of last week, but we don't yet know where, which raises some more concern, because for these things to be taking place and for us to not have any knowledge of what's going on, this is a very serious problem. And I don't want to get ahead of us, but we're going to be talking about that later. But these are some very serious concerns. Let me check these off as I mentioned them. Department, Portal Drive. Also, everyone should remember and know our very own Mr. Belton, Brother Ronald Belton, the former evangelist. We all are aware, for those of you who followed the situation that unfortunately he ended up in, that his ex-wife, Gina Smith, she's now a part of Mr. Cunningham's staff, a part of his personal staff, and has been traveling with him as a personal staff member since the beginning of this convocation, if not earlier than that. But the report was at the beginning of this convocation year. It stated that she is the dietitian for him and his wife. Also, it stated that she's the housekeeper or Portal Drive, and she assists the maids with whatever it is that their duties are at the house at Portal Drive. Says that she claims to be a nurse also, but they said that she actually is not a nurse, the individuals who reported this to me, which is odd because for Mr. Belton to go through the situation that he went through, and then the report that came from several others, I have not confirmed this, but they declare the truth of it, that his ex-wife was told by the former leader or Mrs. Madison to divorce him. And there's some things behind that I don't want to get into as of yet, but it's a very, very sticky situation. However, with the sensitivity of this whole thing and the fact that, you know, there's some problems on the leadership of the House of Prayers side towards Mr. Belton, it really, really, really looks bad that his ex-wife is now working for the current leader of the House of Prayer, while the same person, Mrs. Madison, is still around the leader of the House of Prayer. And as I've said, he takes orders from her. She's not there to serve Mr. Cunningham. She picked Mr. Cunningham the same way she picked Mr. Bailey. Now, those things we have evidence on. We can confirm those two things. There's individuals that also waiting on the sidelines. We know for a fact. And there's some other things around those two things revolving around finances too. And this was many years ago. And there's individuals who knew that he was going to be lined up to be next in the seat before Mr. Bailey even became bishop. So the thing is, these individuals, whenever we're coming together, we're the ones sitting in the audience looking at this show. There's a saying, what is it? All the world is a stage. Is that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just mere players.
Right. And since you and I are not in one, whatever the skit or the act is for those actors getting paid in the back, when they come out, it's time to roll, you know. Action. Take 8, take 9, take 10, right? So they're playing their part. Lastly, go ahead.
And we are just extras that pretty much validate. When I say we, you know, when we were both active doing what we were doing, validate, not trying to validate what they're doing on that, on the, you know, their play, but we're validated because we are serious about what we believe and what we're working on. So it makes it look as if they are valid, but it's because of our actions.
Absolutely.
Just extras.
Yeah, even them, as he pointed out, the individuals sitting in the cafe, right, along the walls in our own conversation, while the camera zoomed in at the two, you know, the lead actor and the supporting actor, they sitting up at the, you know, at the countertop, and you hear everything they're saying. We just at one of the tables. But it really, really looks bad. What do you think? How bad is that? Does it not show, or at least look like it shows, that there's some type of dealings where the ex-wife is being told by either Mrs. Madison or the leader, the former leader, to divorce Mr. Belton? Where would their hand come in this man's marriage to his wife just because he had come into a condition where he went to Mr. Bailey for help, but was turned away. Doesn't that kind of look not only suspicious, but pretty bad for the organization's leadership to not only tell her to divorce, if that was true, but even if that wasn't the case, but to have her now on the personal staff of the current leader.
Yeah, honestly, I felt like she has been on Bailey's staff, or she was one of the people that was always around, and it seemed like it was kind of like after Jackie and Gail and them, that she was always around, and I didn't know exactly when that happened, when that started, how deep it was, what she was doing, but it's been going on for a minute, I believe, from my experiences.
Yeah, as the story goes, the individuals that we've been in touch with, they say that history goes back. And again, I don't want to go too far into those reports as of yet. But the history goes back, and for her to be a part of the staff of the leader today, after her husband had a condition at the time and received no help, no assistance, nothing from the organization. And no matter what happened after that, to divorce and now be with the leader everywhere he goes, traveling with him everywhere he goes, it's just very odd and very suspicious, especially, right? And with Mrs. Madison's hand to still be in all of this, okay? So I'm going to be talking about some things and kind of giving you guys pictures to look at on the puzzle pieces to see how we can put these pieces together. But lastly, there's a news story, a news report of the House of Prayer. I got a phone call. Someone told me that 8 leaders of the House of Prayer was arrested. And I said, wait a minute. What do you mean 8 leaders? I said, 8 leaders down in Georgia was arrested. I said, okay. It doesn't sound like, if that was the United House of Prayer, our phones would have been blowing up, right? Because you let one person find out, right? That any of the pastors or councilmen got arrested in the United House of Prayer, it's going to, the day that happens, that may end up taking a domino effect. And this is what the members of the organization are waiting on. They're waiting for that one phone call, and I wholeheartedly believe that there's going to be call after call after call after call, and people are going to be looking, and all kinds of people are going to be taken into custody for questioning. But turns out this was a different congregation altogether. Have you heard about this? This was actually in Augusta.
No, I hadn't heard about it. But you're absolutely right. If it was somebody, if it was the United House of Prayer organization, oh my God, wildfire. I remember when that pastor of Rock Hill that got in some trouble.
Yeah.
I was in California and it was blowing up out there.
Yeah. Anybody from the House of Prayer. Even the one in Rock Hill. What was that? Was that petty theft?
No.
Or no, there was another elder that was picked up for petty theft. He was taken in for shoplifting.
This was pedophilia.
Oh, and Rock Hill?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear about that one then. I heard about one that was taken for petty theft. And, well, I did hear about other stories with the let's say, the pedestrians files. The pedestrian files, I heard other people had paperwork in those files that our leaders, but I didn't hear about arrests that were made. I know that we've had a lot of those issues were covered up within the organization. And we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. But
Yeah, no, this wasn't covered up. This, I remember seeing the news articles out there with a picture of it.
oh, yeah, that was bad. And nothing,
Right.
nothing was done by the organization.
I did not get a word about anything like that. Not a word. But it was in the news. He was arrested, caught at a public playground where children were.
Oh,
Indecent.
Yeah, see, whew. Again, I didn't know about that one. I've heard about other cases that apparently those other cases have been confirmed. We actually have a case where one of the wives of one of the leaders put a newspaper article in the paper about him. And anyway, we have all kinds of things like that taking place. And again, we're going to touch on this in a few minutes. But this particular congregation was named House of Prayer for All People, something else. And as a result, in the United House of Prayer for All People, if you go to the website, you'll now see this. This is on the website. And it reads, the United House of Prayer for All People of the Church on the Rock of the Apostolic Faith, founded in 1919 and currently led by Bishop A.D. Cunningham, is in no way affiliated with the House of Prayer Christian Church or its affiliate House of Prayer Bible Seminary. Now that's on the website thupfap.org, the national website. And of course, naturally, right, they're going to put something up to let the world know that has nothing to do with us. We're not, we're not them. That's a whole separate organization. We are the United House of Prayer for All People, church of the church on the rock of the apostle. They put the whole, the whole 119 word type. Anyway, to make sure people understood, that's not us. Don't get this thing twisted. That's not us. I'm going to say this. It's not the United House of Prayer in the newspaper yet. Right? Because that case was for intimate harassment, as well as some issues with abuse. And the United House of Prayer for All People is just a little bit more time coming up where those things are going to be coming forward. And I say that because we have individuals. Now, those were the things that others wanted me to bring to the attention of the channel. But we have individuals that are now ready. A while ago, do you remember the video where I said green light?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. A while ago, I kind of put some things out. Well, one of the things that had to do with was for people to do things that was necessary to take what they could and put in certain places so that when certain things happen, people will be able to put their hands on those things. And those things would display for the public, things that's about to come out. And several of these individuals happen to be the children of some of our former bishops, children of some of our former bishops outside of their marriage. Yeah, some of them are individuals that will be sharing the events that took place with them, very traumatic events, horrific events. Some of them will be going into great detail and taking their time to explain and describe. Some of them, it was so hard for them to do this because some of them were sharing with those that were listening at the time they were sharing with. They can remember, you know, scars, certain scars they had on their anatomy. They could remember certain marks and birthmarks. They can remember, even when they think about it, certain scents. They could, and they would fall apart because they're remembering the smell of different things as they were doing different things. It is so, so, so traumatic and horrific. I'm sorry?
It's nostalgic.
Yes. And so now you all know and understand why I have not yet talked about the documentary that I referred to the channel. I'm not trying to push these individuals into doing something that they're not quite comfortable addressing yet. They've been waiting for all of these things to come together so that collectively they will have their day. And when they know that things are officially taking place, they're more than prepared to come forward. Until those things in their eyes and their mind are going to be documented officially, right? And be documented in such a way that they will not have to tell their story again in person. We're not trying to have them repeat these moments where they have to drum up those feelings and the memories. And it's almost where they have to reenact what happened to them. And for that reason, them, family members, others who know about this, they will never, ever go by Logan Circle. Many people have said they will never go to Portal Drive because of the events that took place in those locations. And we're talking about individuals whose family members were more than prepared to do certain things because of their knowledge of what our leaders and others who traveled with our leaders, some of the men who are still here in the organization today, some of those men, their family members were more than prepared to take matters into their own hands, but they were talked out of it. So people are waiting all over the place because not only did these things happen to them, but some of these individuals were actually impregnated. And family members wanted to do certain things, especially the male in their family, and even some of the females, because some of these things happened to these women when they were as young as 8 years old. Yeah, 8 years old. And we've spent time crying with these women because years and years and years later, they're still not over it. Some of these individuals, it chased them into various forms of addiction while trying to get rid of these memories. So when I say that it's far beyond time for the members of the House of Prayer to stop supporting this leadership. You all need to, at this point in time, put the word out, because we know that the members did not know that all of this was going on. We are aware that members knew that there are things happening, but when these individuals are coming forward, and some of them have already made comments openly, some of them are already talking to people openly, some of them are telling their family members and their friends openly. One more thing, for those of you who say or feel that, well, how do you know that the leaders were involved? Because again, these individuals went through many of these things with the leaders, being beckoned by the leaders. And one last thing, it has been reported by several of these individuals, several of them, that Mrs. Dolores Madison was also personally involved and at some points in times responsible for what they went through.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's people who's been eager, and they're constantly calling, asking when. Well, have this individual done anything yet? This office, have they said anything yet? Has there been any leadway? People are anxious, and they're waiting. And they're slowly getting their nerve and their confidence after some of them decades of therapy and counseling. Some still going through counseling. And this, we're talking about even up to date. We're talking about individuals that have gone through these types of situations as recent as 2 and 3 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's people, what they're seeing is collectively a bunch of people coming forward. It helps to build a person's confidence when they realize that they're no longer in this by themselves.
Right.
When they look around and they see, okay, so there are people who will believe me. When they see that they're not going to be thrown out to the side and people thinking that they're crazy. There's so many people, and some of their stories actually line up. They don't even know the other individuals that has been talking with us, because we're not giving anybody's information, no personal information. If they come, we just take their information and it stays there. But they do know that there are several other individuals. And so with that said, let me say this too. The family members of former leaders, many of them have backed away and backed off of the organization, because when they found out certain things, or when things were reported to them, they were not aware, or they didn't know it was that bad, or whatever the case may be. But they backed away because they don't want to have anything to do with any backlash that's coming. And they realize that there's nothing that they can do once the organization went forward, because it looked like to them. And some of them are also aware that there was some personal involvement with each of the leaders setting things up to cut off family members of the former leader. So this is about to get, I'll use the word sticky, right? And the whole thing, quite frankly, is that all of this could have easily been avoided and taken care of behind closed doors, along with those other individuals. It didn't have to come out this way. And this is one of the statements that somebody made in the comments, that Mr. Lewis has done every single thing he could to try to work with these people. And some people have gotten upset with me because I've demonstrated a great deal of patience. But I need to let you all know, the patience is not just because I'm being patient. I would have loved for all of this to have been dealt with the very next week after we started. But I'm not in the position to force these individuals who are sitting in these offices to do anything. They're looking for specific information. And with that said, I, like the rest of the organization, have to wait. But we do see them making leadway in all these various other organizations. And that has been a result of those members. I've gotten phone calls. Individuals have used the information in the videos that we put together in order to investigate and look into what the leaders in their organizations were doing. And the members were the ones that initiated this. So one last thing, outside the house of prayer, there's people all over the country. There's officials all over the country. There's people within enforcement all over the country that are angry at the members of the house of prayer, because they know that the members of the house of prayer could easily stand up, speak out, and fix this entire mess and have it over with in a matter of a few weeks' time. All it takes is the people standing up, coming together, and having a meeting. And this is where we're going to talk about this a little bit later on with Brother Perry. But there's people outside who's angry because they see all these things going on, and they see the evidence, they see supporting documentation, they see individuals that are sharing their stories. When you have credible people like Brother Perry, who's a former pastor, Brother Edwards and Brother Killingsworth, who are former ministers and preachers in this organization. You see former lifelong members born in here also sharing things about the organization. It's nothing that you can possibly hide.
Right. And you know what? Yes, we are former participants and all, but one thing I can attest to is there would be people who have nothing to do with the organization that could tell you stuff about the organization like that.
Yes. Yes.
And it would be a shock to me, but at the same time, being who I was and what I believe, I would justify it or, cover it up some kind of way. But they have nothing. They don't have no family members in it or nothing, but they know about this stuff that was happening.
Yes. Yes. I forgot all about that that note. I recall, and there's two pastors. Well, one's a pastor right now, former pastor, the other one, who they know what I'm about to talk about, but I'm not going to give any specifics. They can confirm this, and they'll know who they are when they listen to this. But there was a man who was a contractor who had done some work in the house of prayer. And the pastor was driving by. He went there to put trash out. One night, it was after 11 o'clock, he noticed the lights were on inside the house of prayer. Well, now he's got a question, right? What's going on at the house of prayer? I know that we're not having service and there shouldn't be any lights left on. So he goes to see what's going on and why the lights are left on. Contractor's still inside. And the contractor's working. He asked him, what's going on? What are you doing here? He said, well, I don't have a choice but to be here. I had to let my crew go 2 weeks ago. Well, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Why you had to let them go? Because I didn't have the money to pay them. The contract that I signed with the organization, they agreed to give me a certain amount up front and then another certain amount, a period go by. And he said, and I'm waiting right now because I haven't been paid yet. And I don't have the money to continue paying my staff because I live a distance away. I got to commute back and forth here with my truck and the equipment. I don't have the gas to keep going back and forth out of my pocket, and I'm paying the guys out of the money that I'm getting because the figure that I charged, I had to give a low figure because, of course, everybody understands how bidding goes. But he had not been paid yet. And he was told that he would get paid once he finished the job. So, long story short, he told him that he was trying to finish all of that work by himself.
Wow.
And he had set up a cot in the house of prayer, in the basement, to sleep at the house of prayer without going home so that he could save the money that he had and not spend it on gas, because he wouldn't have been able to get back to the house of prayer and finish the job so he can get paid and then pay his staff and pay himself. Now, mind you, there's been a lot of stories like that, and the courts, they've been inundated with case after case after case of people taking the house of prayer to court because they don't pay their bills from headquarters. I was surprised when I saw, some of the things I saw, looking at different accounts and looking at balance owed. Oh, Brother Perry, you'd be,
Wow.
with all of the money that we have.
Right.
Do you know that the house of prayer is not even being extended credit? How you a multi-billion-dollar organization and companies do not want to extend credit to you? Do you know how much you have to not pay? How many times you have to miss payments and go through a late payment for a company to tell $1 billion organization, we refuse any credit to you. If you want any of our services, you must pay a deposit up front. Ooh, it's bad. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to rant, but and there's been many, many stories like this.
You're right. I'm somewhat a witness of it because I dealt with, having our building, renovated, or it was a building that was pretty much when the House of Prayer purchased it, it was stripped down to just walls and then rebuilt from the inside out, and just some of the stuff that the contractor and people went through at the redevelopment of the building. I was like, wow.
And that's a whole nother ball game in and of itself, isn't it?
Oh yeah. A couple different ball games. Not only just a couple different ball games, a couple different sports.
Oof, it's it's so bad the way the wheeling and the dealing. But that really shook me when not one, not two, 4 so far. And when they're talking to us, I'm not engaging with them, and the people who else they may be talking to, they're not engaging with them, asking them questions. They're just letting them talk because it's already, it's so sensitive and it's devastating that they're trying to talk you through experiences that they've had that are so horrific, and some of them graphic in detail.
Right.
But to learn,
honestly, you wouldn't know the questions to ask to get the answer. To hear what's going on. You wouldn't even know to ask the questions.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, my experience. This is just the contractor telling me his experience. I wouldn't even think to ask him about this.
Because we never even suspected that there's anything dirty going on in the first place.
Right.
I would tell a few other stories, but the ones that would know who I'm talking about, I don't want anybody to think that they're involved in what we're doing. So I want to share those things. But I will say this. We've had certain things delivered to the house of prayer. And the instructions were for the delivery companies to not take it back if no one was there to sign for anything. The instructions were to drop it off outside on the step or the sidewalk. Now, just think about the areas and the locations and the neighborhoods that the houses of prayers are always put in for the most part. Right? It's not always the best of neighborhoods. And you're talking about equipment worth thousands of dollars sitting outside brand new on a sidewalk. For those of you who understand, y'all can put the pieces together.
And then if you know who the project managers are,
right,
then you kind of get what they're doing, why they're doing it, and then know it's underhanded, and that's how they're going to function.
Right.
It's hard, keep your tongue, not to say everything, but say anything.
I'm glad you said that, because some people, y'all make comments like, why don't you just go ahead and tell it? Why don't you tell? Well, we can't. If we do, we're kind of letting them know, okay, where you need to go and sweep up the dirt. No, we need the dirt to stay there. And I'm saying enough to where they have no clue what I'm talking about. Same thing with Brother Perry. But it's showing them, okay, well, I remember that. I remember this, maybe a few other things. So if you got 14 things that come to mind with that little bit that we've said, well, now your mind has to go racing. How can you go back and clean up those 14 different things? But if we don't know about 14 things, we only know about one, and we go into detail, it makes it easy for you to clean that one, and those other 13 you don't have to worry about. We want you to worry about all 14, because we don't know which ones it is that the authorities are going to find.
And I'd like to add this too. I know I've said it in a couple of other videos that we've done, that I don't want to be associated with this organization. Now, it sounds like I'm double talking, because I say I love the House of Prayer.
Right.
The House of Prayer is my culture.
Right.
It's my tribe.
Right.
I love it. This weekend was Convocation in Columbia, and I know my family was all down here. I didn't get to see nobody. I know I was missing it, but I'm missing it because I don't want to be associated with this organization. It's not fair to me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be associated because I also know this other stuff that's going on. And I can't even tell my own family members. They've been in it longer than me. More in depth while being in bands and choirs and all, because my father was in the military and we did a lot of traveling with the military. But when we got back from the military, I went all in. And there are things that I know that they don't know. And some people, well, why don't you just go on about your business, stay away? That's not fair to me. I love the House of Prayer. I grew up in this thing, but I can't be around it. I don't even want a suit, because if I put on a suit, y'all just see Elder Perry. Y'all don't see me.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's not fair. I really feel like that. It's not fair, but it's things that my loved ones don't even know about it. But I do know. So that's why, in a lot of ways, I don't want to be associated with it at all, because I know too much. I ain't even try to know some of the stuff that I know. I've just been exposed.
As Proverbs, he who seeketh wisdom findeth sorrow.
Yeah.
Right? And you just don't know what you're going to come across when you start looking. This is the problem. There's been other individuals. Somebody sent me an email today. You know who you are. Asking, well, how do you stay out? I want to leave. I've lost all joy being in here. Where it used to be joyful, it's now deplorable. It's depressing. They've seen their loved one dealing with bouts of depression. They've lost their jobs. They've lost their homes, being members of the house of prayer. They're dealing with homelessness as well as not having the means to eat, to feed themselves. All of this is just as bad as that sounds. The most unfortunate thing about all of this is that the two people sitting at the top, Mrs. Madison, number one, and her assistant, right? That's exactly what it is. Mr. Cunningham, because he's only there to protect her.
The bishop and the archbishop.
Right. Right. And she's the real bishop. But she can't show that to the organization, which is why she's everywhere he is. She shows power by her presence. And this is why Mr. Cunningham ain't got no choice but to let her sit right there where she sits. And his wife ain't got no choice but to sit back and take it. Right? Now, mind you, when Mr. Madison was bishop, there wasn't nobody up there sitting there beside her. Right? And when
Madam would sit on the choir stand on the side of the mountain.
Yes. When Mrs. McCullough, her husband passed, nobody sat up there with her. But when her husband passed, sometimes, I remember Chucky, sometimes he would be up there, right? The grandson. Other family members, sometimes his son Leon might be up there. Now, there's something about Leon McCullough also. It had been shared with us by several people now. And these individuals don't know that other people are talking. But it was shared with us that Mr. McCullough, Leon, had went to his father to try to get his father to do away with that title of Addy. Leon went to him several times to get rid of that title because it was disturbing him so much that the people were not calling on, talking about, exalting the name Jesus. Now, I know, and I talk about this from time to time, we got various names that other individuals know about, but again, we have to deal with people where they are. Right? So all these other things, we can deal and talk about that later, but Paul said, to the unlearned, I became as unlearned. So we have a lot of people that are faithful still because they don't know about, like he said, he can't say anything to his family because they don't know about the dark side. Right. This is like Star Wars at its best. You got Darth Vader sitting right up there on the mountain and you don't even know it. You don't know it. And what did he say? Luke, the whole time, Luke had no idea that Darth Vader was his father.
Was his father. Goodness.
The whole time. Just like the members throughout the organization, many have no idea that the leaders of the organization, they ain't thinking about God. They ain't thinking about Jesus. And this is where the opposition comes in. And we're going to, good gracious, we're going to talk about this in the next one, because the stuff that's being done right now out in the open, it is so bad. But the people who are in there who don't know about these things, we don't have a choice but to let them know a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Because it would hit so hard, they wouldn't believe it. And then they're going to turn their ear, no, you're just out of your mind, you're crazy. No.
Just demonize us.
Yes.
Which is already going on. I'm like, what am I saying that's negative? That's a lie. That's false.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just telling the truth.
Right.
But no.
Right. In fact, what did they say about Jesus? He cast out devils by the prince of devils. Try to get people to believe that something wrong with him. He's a false prophet. But he said, don't believe me for my words, things I say. He said, believe me for the work's sake. Look at the work. That's why he said the tree is known by the fruit that it bears.
Right. Look at the works.
And all this evidence, he come on, just even talking about just Brother Perry. How is it possible that everything he did in Sacramento put him in a position to where he became a target for the leadership of the House of Prayer to take him out? Look at the fruit. That don't look like good fruit. When you the leader of the House of Prayer and you go after a man doing the things that he did to remove him.
And you know what's crazy? People who aren't associated with the House of Prayer to this day, when are you coming back?
Right. Right.
We need you here. When are you coming back? They ain't even got nothing to do with the House of Prayer, but they saw what I was doing, who I was in the community. But the leaders of the organization, no, we can't use that.
Mm-hmm.
The current bishop told me if I was the chairman of your state, I would sit you down. What in the world?
Mr. Cunningham, when he was a so-called apostle,
right,
told him that.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Say he would sit you down.
It would sit me down if he was the chairman of my state.
And see, only if the people knew about the things that Mr. Cunningham was dealing with and had going on when he was on that council. All the things that people can come forward and talk about from Greensboro and 601 Elm Street.
Wow.
Yes, and when I talk about people implicating the leaders, again, it's like Mr. Perry, Brother Perry said, these aren't personal issues. These are other people. They're telling their story.
Right.
And there's individuals that's waiting in line, Mr. Cunningham. They're waiting in line because you didn't hide a lot of your evidence very well. And people are waiting. They're also eager because they get so sick and tired of hearing you talking about you, Jesus servant, Jesus ordering your footsteps, you doing whatever for God. They know for a fact. You ain't thinking about no God. They know for a fact the same way. This is why I talk the way I do. Because when you know that someone is a liar and they're cheating and they're doing all kinds of whatever, truth doesn't have anything to be afraid of. Only lies have to cover up themselves. Truth stands bare, out in the open, in the light. And with that in mind, this is why the council, you don't hear a word, not a peep. How is it? Have you thought about this, Brother Perry? How one person, when you was pastoring, how many men came forward after whatever happened to stand before you and accuse you of anything?
Nobody. There was nothing to accuse me of.
And that's my point. But how many men, if you wanted to, could you go and stand in front of them, toe-to-toe, face-to-face, and accuse them?
Oh, my goodness. It's too many to number. And I didn't realize it. It's like a subculture. You do what you want to do.
Yep.
Just don't get caught for it. You know, and if you don't do that, you know, like you may have a private conversation with a brother. And in your private conversation, you say, man, I want to do this, I want to. They'll tell you, go ahead and do it. Just don't let nobody know. Something to that nature. It's like a circle. It's like, this is what we do. We do what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't get caught. And if you get caught, we got our those handshakes. We got our organization that we're a part of. We got you.
Yeah. And that's exactly what happens. They cover up for each other. I've seen.
I'm already talking too much. I'm not trying not to, but I'm already talking.
I've seen them stand on the floor, and who was that? Mr. Arbertha. After he's pastored Charlotte Mission, he became an evangelist. And there was a situation, I think I talked about this on the video, where he attended or he married his granddaughter, I believe. And people got word because they took pictures, bridal pictures, inside the house of prayer. But so that, the picture would not show where they were, they put white drop cloth, right, in front of the mountain. No big deal. 20 minutes, 30 minutes is going to be taken down, right? They don't mean any harm. You know that they got brought into council for this? And if I'm not mistaken, yes, because I was there that day, Friday in Charlotte in council. I thought to myself, my wife was there too, how much of a hypocrite these men are. Hypocrite. Mr. Taylor, who's there at 6 Street right now, Mr. Cunningham's godson. And see, this is why I keep talking about the lying, all the lies and the lies and the lies. He knows that he's his godson. And instead of just saying, well, I want to put him here, period, and leave it at that, the members would have been fine with that. No, you got to come out making it look like Mahatma Gandhi went on a 40-day fast and the Lord revealed. What was he said? He prayed and prayed and prayed, and the Lord showed him Apostle Taylor. I sat there and shook my, and other people laughed because they knew he was lying. Again, people know that you lie out the side of your face all over the organization. And to put on this show, and you have to try to act it out. It's disgusting for those who's sitting on the outside waiting for you to be held accountable. So all of these things coming together, I think now, especially given the fact that it's been, 8.5 months now? This has either been the grace of God or his mercy giving y'all time to either repent and turn around or just come forward, because it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And the members of the House of Prayer, many of them are more and more and more turning away from you because they don't want to be a part of this nonsense.
So the grace of God or the mercy, but also it could be the fury.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I think about, what's his name? Cain. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. I'm just saying the fury because it's the first rule of digging a ditch. When you dig in the ditch, you got to be mindful of where you're standing, because if you're in the ditch, you're just getting lower and lower and lower and lower. And what I'm saying is the fury of the Most High. Some people say, well, ain't nothing going to change. Look how long it's taking. Well, it's taking so long, and as long as it's taking, there is more and more mounting up. And these things that are mounting up are just things that are being brought into knowledge, but we're talking about God's business.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing secret from him. The Most High already knows everything we could discuss, even those things we don't even know. The Most High already knows. And when the Most High is going to punish you, it's going to be thorough. It's going to be this could be the mercy, you could grace, the mercy, but this could also be the fury. of the Most High God.
100,
So go ahead, what you were saying about Cain.
100%. And as soon as you said it, I thought about Cain. A lot of people say the same thing that I just did. A lot of people say that God had mercy on Cain when he said that his penalty is too much for him to bear. And God, he said that whoever I come across will slay me. God said, hold up. I'm going to put a mark on your forehead. He said, whoever comes across Cain, he would be known by that mark on his forehead to not touch him. Now, people take that as mercy. But the Lord said, I don't want nobody to take that man's life. Because as Brother Perry just pointed out, this could be a case similar to Cain, where there's been so much done falsely, lying in the name of God, in the name of his son, to deceive people and have them believe in you while you called yourself God, said that you was him reincarnated, said that you got Jesus' blood, said you was separated from Mary's womb, called yourself the Lord, said you represent the second coming of Christ, having people, and now you're calling young men, lying to them about preaching the gospel of Jesus, when there's never even been an inquiry as to how much these men have learned about the word. You don't even know if they can read the word. You just ask anybody come up here who wants to come, and I need people to represent me. That's what it's all about. To go and tell lies about me. Not lies about me, but tell them lies that I am what I'm telling them that I am. That's the lie that he needs these men to tell. And the Lord's sitting back, allowing all of this to take place the same way he sat there and allowed Lucifer to wander all around heaven and watch what he's doing. Like he told Ezekiel, took him by the locks of his hair, remember, and he showed him around, going all around Jerusalem, the holy city, and then took him to the temple and showed him what they're doing there. And he said, they think I don't see them. And he's sitting there, what was that movie with Scrooge, the ghost of Christmas past and present and future? And the whole time he's sitting there with this spirit, this entity, and the family don't even know that he's there, but he's watching everything.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And you know what else?
Oh, I'm sorry. That last part, God don't want them to touch Cain because he wanted Cain to live every single day for hundreds of years just to make him suffer for the rest of his life.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, there's that. And then when it comes to Cunningham, some people may say, well, y'all keep calling him a liar. Y'all say he lied for this, he lied for that. It doesn't, we could make a list of things that he's lying about.
Mm-hmm.
But the scripture says this. I'm not saying it verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
I don't come speaking of myself.
Yes.
There is the beginning, and that is the root of everything. You definitely can't be the second coming of Jesus.
Right.
You definitely can't be someone who is knowledgeable of the word of the Most High, and you don't even know, you're not even supposed to be speaking of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It makes everything you're about, everything you have done, a lie.
Yes, sir.
Let me calm down. I'm not like him. I'm not going to say, I'm not mad.
Oh, gosh. And that's another joke now that people, like you just did, I hear that now. So people say, I'm not mad. And then they laugh because they hear your anger.
Yeah.
And they know that you're angry because of what we're doing on here to bring people the truth. And every time you get up to speak, it's like you're sticking your foot in your own mouth
Right.
And you're talking about you. To lay things at my gate, people say he's talking about himself. Anybody who's on here, he even used that word, anybody. Anybody listening to that nonsense, to that fake gospel on YouTube. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I didn't want to interrupt your thought.
No, that was it.
You just said what you said. I read last week in the 3rd chapter of Acts, and this isn't where you were, but it made me think about what we put on the video last week, the 3rd chapter of Acts, where there was a lame man who stood asking for alms. And in the 11th verse, it says, as the lame man which was healed held Peter and John, all the people ran together unto them in the porch that is called Solomon's greatly wondering. And when Peter saw it, he answered unto the people, ye men of Israel, why marvel ye at this? Or why look ye so earnestly on us, as though by our own power or holiness we had made this man to walk? Peter gives all the credit, all the glory, all the honor in the 13th verse to the God of Abraham and of Isaac and of Jacob. The God of our fathers hath glorified his son Jesus. And then he says in the 16th verse, and his name, through faith in his name, hath made this man strong. And back to Brother Perry's point, they didn't take any credit whatsoever. But everything you say is about Mr. Cunningham.
Everything.
Did you hear in one of those clips when he talked about after the event in Colombia, when he said that all of you who's not on program for tonight and you perform today, all of you are going to be on program tonight. And then he went on to say, and for those of you who are thinking about it, don't make comments or talk about how long the service is going to be, because I'm saying they're going to be on program. He said, I remember, back in there was a time when we'd be in program still after midnight. Sometimes it might be 20 groups and the people's in there yelling and applauding. And he said, and after all, it's my party. Did you hear that clip yet?
No, I haven't heard that yet.
Okay.
Wow.
We're going to put that on.
I believe it, though, because that's his mentality.
And this is what's coming. And this was, I think, this past weekend. It's my party.
Right.
And this is what we've been saying. This is not servitude to the Most High. No. This is not servitude to his son.
No.
It's all the Cunningham show.
Right. And you know what? This was supposed to come up later on, but I want to say this.
Uh-huh.
Well, you take it back to the whole thing about, well, if his handkerchief could heal, what can my whole suit do? Okay, that's you. God forbid, but let's say something happens to Cunningham immediately. He expires or whatever, and then someone else has to replace, or not even that. What stops whoever paid that $1,700 for the suit from putting that suit on and call themselves going around healing, doing miracles, saying that they are, when like they think that that's a Superman suit or something like that, and then what stops the Cunningham said, I heard in a video recent, I think it's on one of yours, but I heard him say it, I don't care about your theology,
Yeah.
Dude, you need to know, if you're the leader of a faith-based organization. You need to know the Bible didn't happen in Old English and then come here to America. You need to understand the history of the things that occurred. That the Bible was translated to Greek and Latin and then retranslated because they said, well, the person that did a translation, they didn't speak it well enough. And then was translated into German and other languages before. And then you only use the King James Version of the Bible. Do you know how many translations that has gone through? And so Cunningham says this. His mentality is this: I'm God's man, so it's what I say that goes. Okay, what about this next? What about the next person? If they come in there and they don't have any biblical knowledge, because it's very likely, and you expecting a kingdom of people to just trust in what your word is, and you have no clue.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. To your point, do you remember that speech when he went to Jeremiah, 7th chapter, and said that Jeremiah, when he said the temple of the Lord are these, that he was talking about other churches?
Oh, my goodness.
What you just said is what I did with my head when I first heard it. Anybody who understands going to Jeremiah, and we put this on also, one of the videos, if you go to Jeremiah in the 7th chapter, when he said to Jeremiah in the 2nd verse, he said, stand in the gate of the Lord's house. It's the Lord's house. And Mr. Cunningham said that when Jeremiah was saying that, he was saying that he's talking about all these other churches. The lack of knowledge, any kind of knowledge pertaining to the scripture, is baffling. It is.
You know, when I was about 19 years old, I was told that there was this pastor that would get up and preach a Shirley Caesar song and say it came out of the Bible. I never believed it. So I went and visited that house one day. And that pastor got up there talking about shouting John and said that it's in the book of St. John. I said, oh my God, he is not preaching Shirley Caesar and saying this comes from the book of St. John. I'm sorry, but Cunningham has equivalated, he made himself equivalent to that preacher.
It's bad.
It's very bad, and people don't know because their eyes are blocked by the good time, the quote unquote good time, the shouting good time. Oh man, the spirit was so high. What spirit was that though? That high spirit. What spirit was that? Because there are legions of spirits.
And
all right, I'm sorry.
The spirit, oh no, you're good. The spirit of the Most High is not going to contradict himself, and he's not going to go against himself. He's not going to act unseemly. He's not the author of confusion, right? And all these things. In fact, there was another comment that was made last week when he was telling the members about Peter telling the people that when they went out from us, and that showed that they were never a part of us. And talking about us, I'm thinking, wait a minute.
No understanding. No understanding.
None. We would be you, I, Jeremy, Dwayne. We would be the ones that would be with Peter if we were in that day. You're the one, as the leader of the house of prayer, that would be the priests in the temple, who, incidentally enough, were the ones responsible for having Jesus killed. Peter certainly was not saying, if you leave them in this day, that, well, he's talking about anybody who's opposing, in opposition with myself, Brother Perry, and those individuals who's trying to bring truth. The worst part is what you also said earlier. I have the recording on one of the videos where he said what dawned on him was all the things he used to say about the past leaders now applies to him.
To him also.
You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things is this. And see, this is why I'm playing these often so that we don't forget.
It's God in the flesh.
Right? He said he's God in the flesh.
Yeah.
What has Mr. Cunningham been telling us? That he's God in the flesh. I'm sorry?
I was just going to say that he's God in the flesh, that he's the little g.
Yes. And I keep forgetting that every time I go on that little binge of quotes. God with a little g. Little g God. But let me go ahead and get to, he said earlier, we were supposed to talk about this later because I wanted to touch on those announcements that others wanted me to report, as well as touch on the individuals who's waiting to talk about how they went through ordeals with our past leaders. The only one that we have not had any reports on that he had a hand in doing certain things like that, again, was Mr. Madison. All the others, there's individuals waiting to come forward with their stories about incidents with them and things that they know that they've done with others, including other people around them. But several of these individuals said through the years with these leaders, they talked about Mrs. Madison a lot of times. And the things that they've said were almost as if they got together and had conversation before they talked to us. The problem is they don't even know one another that we're aware of. And when you have individuals that are, and this is why during a police interrogation, that's why they take people who was taken into custody at the same time and go ahead.
Separate them.
Boom. They put them in separate rooms so that you cannot collaborate your stories.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you try, there's still ways of getting around it to get the truth out of you. You said that you was down by the tree at the fence. Okay, let's go ahead and separate you two.
Mm-hmm.
And the first question I'm going to ask you is, what kind of tree was it?
What kind of tree was it? That's right. Was there anything in particular on the ground around the tree?
Right. It was an apple tree. The other one said it was a walnut tree. No, you're lying.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Easy. But when these individuals, all these different individuals saying the exact same things, so members of the organization, we need to make sure that they know about this video. If no other video, make sure they know about this video. Because we're getting ready to transition in the conversation into this other part that everybody right now seems to be forgetting, because Mr. Cunningham and Mrs. Madison, they want you all to not think nothing about what we're about to talk about. And that's the 501c3. Now, when we talk about this other issue with these people, you all just need to know that not only that happened, but every one of them will tell any member of the House of Prayer right now, get your daughters off the maids. Period. And they say, and with tears, because you have many of them that you will never guess what's going on with them, and they won't say anything out of fear. Out of fear. And then there's a few maids that nothing has happened to, and they will swear that none of that is going on. But you can't say what you don't know because it didn't happen to you. That's all you can say. Well, that didn't happen to me. And you can leave it there, because there's been other women in the company of other women and men who said, no, that didn't happen. That got up in their face with tears and yelling because they know what happened to them or their loved ones. So besides that, choirs and bands, there's a lot of stories as well about people who was on the bands and people who's been on the choirs. And they have a lot of stories about the council. So when I tell you people not holding back, y'all don't need to, this is not a bluff. We're not playing poker here. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to step away, step down, whatever you got to do, so that the organization can get cleaned up and do what it's supposed to do, which is assist people in need. Talk about the word and fellowship. That is all. That's all. More importantly, for all of the resources of the House of Prayer, members, this is why they're fighting so hard to keep you all divided. And this is why they're fighting so hard to keep you all from knowing what it is that I'm going to let Mr. Brother Perry talk about right now. The 501c3.
Well, yeah, and as we go into that, I want to ask, do you have a constitution or something like that near you?
Absolutely.
That you could reach?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Can you read the purpose? Because I want to ask the members, what is the purpose of this 501c3? What is the purpose of this not-for-profit corporation? Could you read what the purpose is of the House of Prayer?
Yes, sir. Now, I thought I had it right here. Give me 1 second. But
all right.
what are some of those other questions again, so that they will hear you?
What's the purpose of this organization? And when, I know you have this document too, I've seen it. When was that written? Because see, when you have, for anyone who has ever done any work for a not-for-profit organization, a community-based organization, you know that there's a packet. The application for the 501c3 is a thick packet. And a part of that packet is you have to define, how are you a nonprofit organization? How do you serve the community? And what was written was as a result of the purpose of the 501c3 back then. And is that still prevalent for today? Does it still work for today? And what we found is, asking that question before, is because I felt like this. There's a separation between church and state. They would not, the United States government would not accept what we know of as the purpose of the organization, right, as a purpose for a 501c3.
Right.
But apparently for what they required at that time, that was acceptable. Do you have it now?
Yes. And I don't think, like you said, that this is the purpose that's on the application. And what we do realize is going on is information that's being given to the members of the House of Prayer is one thing. Mm-hmm. Information that's being furnished to the officials who's outside the House of Prayer, that's altogether different.
It's got to be different.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see how, it's just like you said the other day in another video, the government don't see Cunningham as the man of God.
No. Not at all.
They don't see it like that.
Not at all.
So when you say this is the purpose of the 501c3, actually, go ahead and read it, if you don't mind.
The purpose of the United I'm sorry. Reading this is making me laugh because
Right. That's why I keep saying it in probably every video I've been in. I keep saying it, but I'm like, actually read it. Pay attention.
Yo, listen to this. This is what he wants. The purpose of the United House of Prayer, as set forth in its constitution and bylaws. See, this is the trickery they play on the people like they're just legitimate. Is to establish, maintain, and perpetuate the doctrine of Christianity and the apostolic faith throughout the world among all people.
I mean, you can even just stop right there. How many?
Even that to erect and maintain houses of prayer. They ain't maintaining nothing.
When was the last time one was erected?
Oh my gosh. Very good question. Very good question. I remember reading in one of the Truth and Facts. There was a house of prayer getting a roof repaired, and they listed that in the Truth and Facts. The location of the house of prayer is getting a brand new roof. Like, this is something to be proud of.
Wow.
Oh gosh, it's horrible. It's horrible. But to establish and maintain houses of prayer and worship where all people may gather for prayer and to worship the Almighty God in spirit and in truth, irrespective of denomination.
Lie.
Yes.
Now here's a huge lie. Irrespective, go ahead.
Of denomination or creed.
But if you go back to the very opening.
The purpose. Go ahead.
Go ahead, read.
Back to the beginning. The purpose of the United House of Prayer, as set forth in its constitution and bylaws, is to establish, maintain, and perpetuate the doctrine of Christianity.
So it can't be irrespective of denominational creed.
Right.
It has to be the doctrine of Christianity.
And the apostolic faith.
And the Now listen, if you are a Calvinist, you don't believe in music, art, structures, stuff like that.
Right.
But according to that lie, that you're supposed to be the house of prayers for you too. No, it's not. They got pictures all over the house of prayer. The stained glass windows is considered art. The music, oh my goodness. It's not for Calvinists.
No.
It's not irrespective of denominational creed. No. That's just one example.
Yes, sir.
All right, you go ahead.
And to close that out, irrespective of denominational creed, and to maintain the apostolic faith of the Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
But it's irrespective of denominational creed.
Right.
That's just not a lot. So I asked the members, what is the purpose? I'm not going to say how's a prayer. What is the purpose of this not-for-profit corporation? And I say that because the members constantly contribute finances. You're contributing finances to this not-for-profit corporation. Okay, so what are your finances? And this is the thing that really stirs me up. How many of us have dealt with our power going out? have dealt with being hungry, have dealt with homelessness, have dealt with not having gas in our cars, have dealt with our children wanting to go on a field trip for school or something like that, but we can't give them the money to go on that field trip,
right?
Because we done contributed to this not-for-profit corporation. For what? I remember my grandparents, they believed and they taught us, Daddy Grace said, you're going to have to feed the world one day.
Yep. Yep.
They had a purpose for wanting to, they wanted to help Grace in his purpose. Do everything they could to. Now, what are you helping Cunningham with today? Make sure his hat matches his tie. Make sure his shoes are shiny. What has the... You could go to Grace. Grace was building buildings. McCullough perpetuated what Grace was doing. Madison came along and renovated the entire organization. But then you go to Bailey, what did he do? I'm sorry, he sat down.
Yeah.
And then you get to this next one, Cunningham, what is he doing? What has he done?
Even to have a street named after him.
Say that again?
Even to have a street named after him.
A street named, that's right.
That's
right. Yeah, Reed Street used to be the name Street House of Prayers on in Columbia. It's called C.M. Bailey Boulevard. Why? And what did Bailey do? First of all, Madison is the one who initiated that, or it might have been McCullough, and Madison just fulfilled it, that renovation of Reed Street. Reed Street used to be so bad, man. You'd be scared to walk. I remember I used to work at the Adams Mark Hotel downtown Columbia, and I had to walk home, which was 4 miles away, I think it was. And part of, I get off of work at 11, 12 o'clock at night. I had to walk home. And part of walking home was I had to walk down Reed Street. When I got to Reed Street, I had to walk from one side of Reed Street to the other side of Reed Street. I would literally walk in the middle of the street because it was common knowledge in that whole Edgefield area. If you walk on the sidewalk, you're going to get robbed. You might get robbed by gunpoint. You might get robbed by knife point. If you get robbed by knife point, they're going to cut you. If you get robbed by gunpoint, they might not shoot you if you got something on you. But if you ain't got nothing on you, they'll shoot you in your foot, shoot you in the leg. It was common knowledge. So walk down the middle. I would walk down the middle of the street. Make sure I was in the street lights. That's how bad that street was. Madison came along and he renovated that, not the whole street, but the area around the House of Prayer, and made it a safer place. But the name of that street now is C.M. Bailey Boulevard, or C.M. Bailey Street. And why? What did he do?
To piggyback off what you just said, Mr. Cunningham just had a street named after him in Greensboro.
Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Market Street, right there by the House of Prayer, is now Bishop A.D. Cunningham Street.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. But
no, go ahead.
Well, I was about to say, the thing is, for those of you who were disgusted by that, is it was disgusting for me to hear that, because not only none of this is personal, but again, I keep reiterating, I know him, I know what he's doing, and like you just heard Brother Perry say, he can't tell his family. I can't tell you the stuff that's going on. And even for you to hear what you heard today about these former leaders, there's stuff that Mr. Cunningham is involved in that y'all don't know about yet. And when it comes forward, he's going to be surprised at the people who know about the things that he himself has done and is doing right now. So they have to keep up this charade to make it look like. But it's a problem when evidence is being brought forth against you. You're not going to be able to hide because there's evidence. And what Brother Perry is saying, if you've done nothing, see, a smart criminal is not going to bring attention to themselves. You doing everything you can to bring attention to you. Who's that dude? That guy? Was it American Gangster? Frank.
Frank Bruno.
I'm sorry.
Frank Bruno.
No, it was another. Had another name.
Oh, that's a boxer.
On the tip of my tongue, but
Yeah,
he had all of Harlem. That man had Harlem on lock. I think this was back in the 60s and 70s when it came to his business.
There was
Bumpy Johnson and Frank
Johnson.
Lucas.
Lucas, yeah.
Yes.
I know about the bomber.
They had their business on lock.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to do nothing to bring no attention to yourself if you're working for them, because they're not going to take any chances. Now, mind you, people know that they're dirty. But when you're trying to feign that you're clean, let alone that you're a man of God, the man of God, the one man in the entire planet Earth, or God himself, and you got all these bits and pieces of evidence laying around you and you doing all this stuff, what in the world? And so people, if you're, like he said, if you're getting upset, I don't blame you. I was livid when I found out that I was involved in a lie, a sham. It took me 2 days, and the Spirit had to deal with me. 2 days in that hospital. And had it not been for the Lord, and that's another problem, because all these songs, and he's sitting back having people sing. What you think about that video? We're going to come right back to the 501c3. But the video with the young lady in the display video, she was singing, I worship you, I adore you. And for all these people who keep saying in the house of prayer that they don't, we don't worship a man.
We don't worship a man.
Right? It's the Spirit in the man. I don't care what it is that we say it is. Nowhere in the Word are you going to find that people worshiped the Spirit of God.
Right.
Nowhere. And today, if that's what you're claiming, well, why is it that every auxiliary has to have his name in front of the auxiliary?
Right.
It's because it's his party. The show don't start till he get there, right? Matter of fact, let's put it like this. When the priests got ready to go and serve in the temple, did they wait on whoever, or the tabernacle? Did they have to wait for Moses to show up before they got started? Could Moses walk up in there and just plop down on the ark, swinging his legs, and call for other priests to come and fan him? Were they coming to bring him any coin? Did they have any glasses of juice for Moses to drink while he sat inside the tabernacle?
None of that.
This is the Cunningham show. And it's not, to be fair, it's not just him. It started way back in the beginning. Right? But my resentment came because I had been hoodwinked, and I got angrier because all of us got hoodwinked.
Right.
And I got angrier because I see efforts are being made to keep us all hoodwinked, bamboozled, conned. But what did you think about, I think I showed 2 songs when one was the one where they play, oh, how precious, precious. Now, you know, they sing that song, you know, Jesus, House of Prayers, Addie. And there was another one, I can't remember what it was, but even the replacements of the names, it goes to show that the exaltation is for the man, quite frankly. And we know this. But your thoughts on the baptism in Virginia and Greensboro, with Mr. Cunningham coming out and finding out that I had a megaphone. Even in Virginia, where there was nothing done towards Mr. Wilson and his condition, to send somebody to him to make him an apostle, to say that he's giving him the title. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Excuse me. Well, that whole thing with Wilson, that was kind of presented to me as well. See, when I was taken down from pastor, I remember I was with Bailey had come to San Francisco, and I went to San Francisco, and I would always be with the, all the pastors and everybody, because I was one of the ones who made things happen in Northern California. So I went to the hotel, and when I was at the hotel, normally I would be in the room with, chairman and all that, but I just stayed outside with security and just outside. It wasn't my place to be amongst them no more. Then all of a sudden, the door of the hotel room opened, and they come, Perry, Daddy, come in. So I went inside. He said, Apostle Perry, you stand there and you hold Apostle Davis's hand. I could have taken that. Y'all, I am apostle. I'm apostle. I could have taken that and ran with it. Made sure everybody called me apostle from that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I just let that go because I felt like it's nothing but a trap.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like with Wilson. It's a trap to say, well, I gave you this title for you to have faith, and by your faith you shall be made whole. But if you are the so-called man of God on this earth,
that part,
and you have the power like it used to be, that's why I asked the question on one of the comments, do they still have convocation placards?
Not at all.
I remember.
Not
have
at all.
Have you seen one?
Not at all. Or the last one I've seen was a collector's item. That was back in 2012.
Yeah, something like that. Oh my God, last one I seen was before then.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember they used to say healing and miracles.
Yes.
They used to say that.
Yes.
But what healing? We don't have any information of Cunningham having healed anyone. Miracles. What miracles have he done? What prophecy has he done? So you ask, what are my thoughts on? It's all just false. I mean, I really don't have any thoughts on it because I know it's all false.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a part that I wanted to bring out. It's not me. I've been gone 15 years.
Yeah.
But it's not just me that know it. It's the active people who sang on program, who was in display, who played on the band. They know too.
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe either. That, and this is what I want people to realize. This is just the fact. I'm not being opinionated. This ain't just my opinion. This is a fact. And that's why I made a post on Facebook last Friday that I've been in Colombia all day, hanging out. I haven't heard anything about a man of God, any healing, any miracles, anything. I haven't heard anything, not on the radio, not in nobody's conversations, nothing. And I was in the city of Colombia where the Holy Convocation is supposed to be. And one of the comments that I got was from a House of Prayer member, and he said, I feel attacked by what you said. He said, this disrespect has got to stop. You've been gone for 15 years. And so I'm asking the question, did you read my comment? Because what attacked you? I just asked in this question, in this post, loved ones, do you believe what you say you believe? Why do you feel attacked? And the reality of it is you feel attacked because you know,
Right.
just as every other member knows,
Right.
that you do not believe in what you are, quote unquote, expected to believe. Especially if you were born in the house of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
It's expected that you just automatically believe. And believe what? Believe that he's the man of God. Believe that he's the miracle worker. Okay. The truth be told, completely honest, is he doesn't even believe in himself as that. If he believed in himself, I know when I was pastor, if somebody in my service fell out and the members called for 911 and the ambulance came to take a member out, I could be up preaching. Before the ambulance takes that person out, I'm going to go to that person, lay hands on them, and pray for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have faith. It's not that I believe that I have the power. I have faith in my God.
Right.
But he would let them just come in and take somebody, and without praying for them. Why? Because he doesn't even believe in himself. And listen, here's the funny part. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong, members, that you don't believe. What has been given to you to make you believe? Because stories have been told to you? What evidence have you been shown that you should believe? Even him, Cunningham. It's okay that you don't believe. It's not okay for you to lie about it and put on the charade to try to make other people believe in you. But you know you don't even believe.
Right.
Someone is in your ear trying to make you believe, trying to make you. Man, we know you, Cunningham. When you're up there, we know you're not being yourself. You're trying to act like Madison. You're trying to act like McCullough.
Yeah.
You're not being yourself. Excuse me. And so that's why I say, what is the purpose of this nonprofit organization? And then let me ask you this while you have the book in front of you. Is there anywhere in the book that says that the bishop or the CEO of the organization has to be or is the angel of God, God with a little G, Jesus represents anything like that?
Nothing at all, other than prophet, the word prophet.
The word prophet. And see, the reason I say that is because it's time for a reformation. It's time to revisit this and really identify any executive of a corporation. Now look, how many congregations are there? 137 congregations?
Here we go. Yes, sir. 137.
Go ahead. What you about to say?
No, I'm saying this is the part. This part, what you bringing up? Yeah. Go ahead.
Now, we've been promulgated almost 100 years. In 100 years, you only have, and it's your purpose to erect and maintain, but in 100 years, you've only erected and maintained 137. That's like one and a little more than a third a year. As a executive of an organization, don't you visit that stuff? Don't you discuss that stuff annually? How are we doing towards our goal? What accomplishments have we made? What do we do? What do we need to do to be more proficient towards our goal? What is the outcome of our goal? The assessments, the checks and balances. But that's apparently not. I know all the years I went to General Assembly, and that General Assembly meeting is the meeting that should happen in. None of that ever happens. There is no discussion. How can you sit here and tell me that your purpose is to establish, erect, and maintain? However, you don't have any way of training, any way of sending out a team. You don't have any goal, any preparation, any how you say it. I'm not using the jargon, the corporate jargon that I should be using, but you don't have the system set up for that. And yet, this has been your purpose for 100 years.
No goal setting, no team set up, no type of infrastructure set up for the management or for the reaching towards any of the things that budgets are going to be set up for to help expand. Nothing that has to do with business whatsoever is being done.
Whatsoever. But it's expected that the people believe that this individual set up over them is the man of God. Where does that come in? Where is that necessary? One thing I would hate to see happen is, let's say, as a result of these efforts and everything that's going on, the leadership is taken down, removed, arrested, whatever happens. But then there is set up another bishop, and that bishop is, again, still sweet daddy. And the people still are expected to believe. Like, that would be a horrible thing. It needs to be reformed, reconstructed, make sense. Find out what is in the treasury. And that way you come up with a budget to do something meaningful, something real, not just have this one person live in this lap of luxury and share a little bit of, share some pennies with other people. And again, I don't know if you saw it. There's only one video I've seen on YouTube recently, and that is the end of the parade in Columbia. Boy, Cunningham was sharp.
That pink.
No,
they said it was
pink.
white with red stripes.
No.
The gray?
He had on a gray suit.
Oh, that was
beige hat.
That was from last year.
Was that last year?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was.
I did too. I did, but it doesn't take away from your point. But yeah, he was sharp. And
boy, he was sharp. And then he got into that midnight blue Maybach. Now I remember last time I went to the house of prayer, I saw Bailey get into a brown Maybach. It was this is a midnight blue. I thought, they got a whole different one.
Yeah.
Boy, and that thing was clean. I said, oh my God, that's sharp. But I'm gonna tell you something. My big mama, my granddaddy, my great granddaddy, they didn't go through all of that suffering.
Right.
So that an individual can look sharp. An individual can look good. My loved ones, my aunties that worked so hard in the kitchen, down in their bones, the sickness that even died, did not go through all of that.
This part.
So he can look good. That ticks me off. And for my loved ones who say, oh, you just need to let go. You've been going all these years, going about your business. I am Chuck Perry's son. You cannot slap somebody in my family and walk away from me. I'm going to speak up on that.
Right.
I'm going to have a problem with that.
Right.
And that's why I have a serious problem with us today just accepting this garbage. I love this organization. I can't help but love it. I'm trying to let go, try to walk away, but I cannot do that because my loved ones love this organization. And they are constantly working hard, giving their life, and they don't realize it's like Halloween or Christmas. You are just enjoying the presentation, but you don't really believe. When you see somebody walking down the street with that vampire outfit, you don't believe that's a vampire. You see somebody walk down the street with the werewolf outfit or the ghost outfit, you don't believe that that's a ghost, that's a werewolf. You're just enjoying that event. And that's what's going on with the house of prayer.
Right.
They're just enjoying the event. And really, what they don't realize is that. And the fact that you don't even believe in your leadership, you don't believe in that man of God thing, And the fact that you're supposed to, you're dissolving this great organization that our grandparents worked so hard for. You're dissolving it. It's not because of the videos that Brother Lewis is doing that the membership is so low. It's because of the garbage that's going on within the organization
Right.
that the membership is so low. And it's going to keep going. People don't. I remember being a band boy and the preachers again, y'all cut off or y'all do this. Man, we as a band boy, we just turn our nose up, keep on going, do what we do. And it's going to get even worse than that. They're not going. I've already seen it. I think I called you or told you about the video when Cunningham was trying to get the band to switch over.
Oh, yes. Oh, man.
They weren't paying him no attention. They just kept on going.
Yeah. That was, I think that was Greensboro when he got up out the seat, the band was playing, and he did something with his hands for them. They went right back into it again. There was another part, Brother Perry was saying that there was another part to that song, and I didn't know that. I thought that y'all know how the leader might tell the band now, kick it up and go into the background. That's what I thought he was wanting. But the band kept going back into the song. But the Perry corrected me and said, no, there's another part to that song.
He's trying to get them to go into the vamp.
Yeah.
And he started singing it. They just kept on going back into the verse. They weren't paying him no attention. And the whole organization is going to get like that. That was that one moment. But then, just like he is not heeding the Constitution, the people are not going to heed him.
Right.
And the house of prayer will continue to dissolve to nothing. I can't let my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my aunties, my uncles, my parents, my siblings, my own works dissolve to nothing. We did this stuff for a purpose. Now, maybe this whole thing about Sweet Daddy, that is not what it's supposed to be. Now, and you were making a funny earlier about when Moses went into the tabernacle. No, they didn't have people coming and fanning and all that.
Right.
But yes, when Grace got into the temple, they have the people fanning. You know what that's a result of? And the people don't even realize this. That is a direct result of the enslavement.
Yes.
Slavery. You know, there's a movie called Hidden Figures.
Oh, gosh.
And in that movie, those women, those black women are intelligent. And they are called, their position was they were computers. Today, when we think of a computer, we think of a machine. But we don't realize that, no, a computer was a person who computed.
Calculations and math.
Yes, that's what a computer was. Today, we have the maids, or in the house of prayer, they have the maids fanning the bishop. That's because the fans were the slaves. And they fanned the masters. And the bishop is called the master. That people don't realize that those maids are up there doing the fanning. They are the fans. Just like the computers were those people. Those maids are the fans. It's a direct, it's directly from slavery, from the enslavement. And a lot of the stuff that goes on today is directly from the enslavement. Even when the bishop comes, you know, the choirs come down the aisle, they give him money, whatever. When the bishop comes down the aisle, when the choir's up singing, he comes down to the end of the mountain and gives them money, that comes from the enslavement. That's what the masters would give tokens to the slaves. They would be dancing around in a circle and singing and stuff, and they all come to the porch of the house, and the master would give them a token. That's all a part of the enslavement. And that raises me a question for me. Who are these people that send these dollars up to the bishop during program. I'm like, didn't y'all give in love, give in y'all at home? Who are you? Are you just somebody who wants that direct attention? Come on now, check yourself.
Yeah.
Check yourself. So, and then the next day I made another post on Saturday or Sunday. I said, did you tell anybody about the good food that will be going on down the Housebury? About the cold drinks that will be for sale? Did you tell anybody about the amazing musicians, the bands, the choirs, the beautiful people, the men, the women, the families, the friends, the fellowship, the people dressed up? Did you tell anybody about that? What about, did you tell anybody about the healing, the miracles, the man of God, the God with a little G? Did you tell anybody about that? And I said, I have a right to ask you this because I did tell people.
Exactly.
And because I did tell people, there is a monument still standing today at 3540 4th Avenue in Sacramento, California, because I told people. If you believe, why are you standing on the rooftop telling somebody? Because the fact remains. Fact, not opinion. You don't believe. How could you believe when he does not even believe in himself? And all that comes back to the so-called purpose of this organization needs to be revisited, reconstructed, and purposely pursued. There needs to be we need to know what's in the treasury. And that way we could come up with a budget to do some necessary things that are profitable to the people and the communities here. Because why is everybody doing what they're doing? Otherwise, do y'all know why you're doing what you're doing?
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
And what you just said regarding the maids, that's why, in my opinion, it's important for you all to understand why somebody wanted me to share that they overheard him yelling at one of the maids.
Oh, man.
If my daughter's on an auxiliary and word get back to me that you sitting there yelling at the top of your lungs at my daughter, first of all, to know that he's yelling at a maid, that's just the tip of the iceberg, because if he's yelling, then what kind of treatment is that maid getting when he's not yelling? And many maids will tell you, the maids are humiliated.
Right.
They go through all kinds of nonsense, to include sleeping on the floor. And parents don't know any of this because the maids are instructed or they're too afraid to tell you because of the number of individuals who tell them that it's a blessing in it. It's an honor to serve this man, to be there at the house, when those types of things have literally traumatized and ruined your little girls for the rest of their lives, not to include to take away their ability to even have children. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Not to include the residual effects. Those little girls grew up to be young ladies. Some of them did have children, and some of them who, projected what they have experienced onto their young ladies, or their children, who continue to do that generationally.
Generation after generation. And that we can see that the idea, which was actually stated by some of the leaders, if nobody ever joined, we got enough here to continue. And the next generation, the next generation, and the next generation. And there's an effort being made to do just that. The problem is that effort is being carried out in sin. And so people are all over the place doing all kinds of things. And we don't like to hear it, but the fact of the matter is truth is truth, and all of us going to have to stand and be judged.
That's right.
Period. It's like you said the last time we talked. People don't understand the implications that what you're going to be facing in judgment, not even in judgment, but even now, and individuals who are in support of this or defending this. That's why people in the comments are saying anybody who's speaking against this channel or the efforts that's being made by the individuals that come onto the channel, whether it's Brother Perry, whether it's Brother Killingsworth, Brother Edwards, Dwayne, other people who are lined up right now, it's a blessing for many of the leaders right now that somebody who had called and they were ready to come on, but they couldn't come on the last minute. The things that, oh my goodness. Members, it's time to let all the other members know. Listen, y'all need to watch that video, because what's coming out, this is not what's being kept secret. What the word is, what is coming out, what's being prepared to come out. The faster you stop, the faster you let go and to take your hand off the wheel, the easier it is to put yourself in a position where you're not in what our brother calls the blast radius, because things are being set up now. I'm sorry?
No, I just agree on what you're saying.
And for those maids, again, people have no idea what they're going through, especially the ones who travel, and especially the ones who's in the houses, because their parents are not around. And same thing when it comes to the altar boys. So the bottom line is there's even active members right now that for whatever reason, they're too afraid to come on out. And it has to do with this indoctrination, where they're instilling fear. That's the purpose of your masks, to keep people instilled in fear. Matter of fact, let me read this epistle. I'm going to read like I did with Kill, and I'm going to let you know what the epistle says. I'm going to be pausing back and forth.
Okay.
Peace, through grace, amen. Peace be unto peace be unto my sons and daughters in the gospel. As I write this epistle, my heart is overflowing with the joy of the Lord. As I remember how he has blessed us through this 99th annual Holy Convocation. I have enjoyed every week since the beginning. Now, we know that's a lie. But
this has been the most trying convocation you've ever experienced.
Oh, gosh. It's so bad. Let me continue so you can hear this. Each week I have seen you get stronger in the Lord. That's another. Anyway, continue. Many that have become idle are now running for the Lord and serving and praising Him. He said, many that have become idle are now running for the Lord and serving and praising Him. So far, I'm going to just say, all I've heard was nothing but lies. And I'm going to continue.
It is my prayer that others will come back to you.
It is my prayer that others will come back to him.
And join the faithful as we continue to lift him up.
And join the faithful as we continue to lift him up. Now, and you can jump in anytime you want, but this is...
That's the biggest lie ever.
Yes.
I'm sorry not to boast myself or yourself, but you and I were faithful, and look at what happened to us. They
Right.
don't want to be. You don't want your faithfulness.
Right. And the faithful he's talking about are his supporters.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And those supporters are those who's supporting his agenda, the ones who
Right.
know what's going on. I call it the after party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Saying, what was that song R. Kelly sung? Jeep. You remind me of my Jeep or something? Toot, toot, beep, beep. After the show, it's the after party, and after the party, it's the hotel lobby or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And the members know what we're talking about. I was appalled to hear that this type of stuff is going on.
Oh, my goodness.
I had no idea. And then people, when they went into detail, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, let me say the rest of this. It's like a minute left. Oh, magnify the Lord with me.
And let us exalt his name together.
And let us exalt his name together.
Surely you can see that the condition of this world is getting worse every day.
Truly you can see that the conditions of this world are getting worse every day. Now, correct me if you think I'm wrong, but he's using a lot of that to try to promote himself by making the people think the world is getting worse and worse, and a lot of this stuff going on in the world. But the code, the underlining message, the fine print is stuff that is going on with these people who says that they still members of the house of prayer. Do you hear that language, or is that just me?
I'm not understanding the question.
When he keeps talking about there's trouble in the world today and the world is worse and this, that, and the other, do you think, or I have said, that that's code for talking about me by playing that distract your attention to the news over here, gives him the opportunity to talk about what we're doing on this channel, but not actually say that he's talking about the channel? Or let me just put it this way. How many times have you ever seen a bishop talk about the news, the news, the news, the news?
No. It actually felt like they were kind of ignoring it. They didn't want us to, like, for example, the civil rights movement, stuff like that. They wouldn't talk about that stuff in the house of prayer.
Right. Right.
What's going on in the world? They don't talk about. They talk about what's going on in the house of prayer.
Mm-hmm. I've never heard so many announcements of the current events coming from our leaders in my 45 years. So I'm just looking through and I'm saying this just allows him to talk about what I'm doing without saying what it is that we're doing on the channel. And telling people through the message of, well, you know, there's bad news, stuff is going on, but let me give you this message. Don't worry about the evildoers. Well, the evildoers, the ones out there on that channel and who's on the phone and whoever's standing out there with them. Right? And that's how I perceive and the language and the lingo that he's presenting. But let me play the next part. The greed and corruption of man has spiraled
Wow.
out of control. You caught that, right?
Mm-hmm.
The greed and corruption of man has spiraled out of control.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's, does he realize he's talking about himself?
And see, that's what I'm saying. He's doing as the other leaders did. He's not talking about the world, what's going on outside the house of prayer. He's talking about what's going on inside the house of prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Inside. It, how the world, everything's going so bad. Well, yeah. When you're in the house, when the bishop, the leader is in the house, and you can see the pews, when you can see the floor, yeah, it's a great falling away happening.
Yeah.
And yes, the greed, no, absolutely. You constantly asking for more and more and more and more money, but not doing anything for the people who are giving the money. Just requesting that they give you more. There are fewer and fewer people, but y'all are requesting more and more finances. Come on now. Yeah, the greed. They don't talk about what's going on in the world.
Mm-mm.
They talk about what's going on in the house of prayer.
Right. Right. Now watch where he takes this in the conclusion of the letter.
Peace and safety is getting worse every day. The greed and corruption of man has spiraled out of control. Only our path to peace and safety is through God.
Only our paths to peace and safety is through God.
You must trust Jehovah.
You must trust Jehovah. You want me to pause? You want me to pause? Go ahead.
He just don't make sense to me. I'm sorry.
No. I think he's trying to throw that in there because he said that the house of prayers, Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterian, Seventh-day Adventist, Catholic, he said that they're um, um, Muslim. He said that they're Jehovah's Witnesses. And again, I'm not going to touch that quite yet because I'm going to talk about that kufi. But if you want to go there, then by all means, have at it.
Well, the only thing I will say is, like I said earlier, when he told me if he was my state chairman, he would sit me down. That was a conversation about Islam and Muslims. And I was explaining to a couple of other people that if you look at the original plans of 601 M Street, it's a Muslim mosque.
Yes, it is.
And we got into a conversation about that. And they said, well, ain't no Muslims in the house of prayer. I said, yes, it is, because I'm a house of prayer Muslim. And I was explaining to them, a Muslim is one who submits to the will of the Most High God. That's what a Muslim is. You go to any of these Orthodox go to any of the Muslims, they'll tell you that. And I said, I'm a house of prayer Muslim. I submit to the will of the Most High God. And he said, I can tell you trying to be like that. By the way, because I wouldn't say Muslim or Muslim. I say Muslim.
Right.
Well, I grew up, my formative years of my life were in the Philippines and in Puerto Rico. So, and I've used this example before. If someone comes to me and says, my name is Jose, that's Jose. Somebody says, my name is Jose. When you come in, hey, what's up, Jose? That's what I'm not going to say Jose.
Right.
Hey, Jose. I'm going to say it the way that you say it.
Right.
And the word is Muslim. So I'm going to say Muslim. I'm not going to say Muslim or Muslim. That's not how you say it. So he said, I could tell by the way you say it, you trying to bring them or something like that. He said, if I was your chairman, I would sit you down. Listen, you'll be losing a good man. I'm telling you, I'm submitted to the will of the Most High God. That's the only thing I'm telling you. And I'm showing you the evidence of Grace's original plans for 601 M Street. Look at that. You can see that that's a mosque.
All you got to do is look at the Temple on the Mount today, because that's not that's not Hebrew. That's not Israeli.
Come on now.
The point now, for those who don't understand what Brother Perry just said, quite frankly, and this is a debate amongst a lot of people because they don't understand what he just said. And this is why it was a problem for the leaders of the House of Prayer. By that, I mean councilmen and some of the others. And even if Mr. Bailey didn't understand, we certainly know Mr. Cunningham didn't. But if you're looking at, I'll even go as far as to say Islam. I will also add Jehovah's Witnesses. I will also add Hindu. Now, that's a strange mix, but it makes my point that much more clearer. When you talk to any of these individuals on a one-on-one basis, all of them are going to refer to the one they believe in as the Most High God. The question is, how does your God in Hinduism differ from the God that is being looked to in Islam, that they may refer to as Allah? How does that differ from the one that is looked upon in Jehovah's Witnesses, where they may say Jehovah? The question is, do you believe the one you serve is the Most High? The answer, obviously, in each group is going to be yes. So by saying what he just said, Brother Perry was letting Mr. Cunningham know, if you truly understand the terminology, then you wouldn't have an issue with anything I just said.
Right. Nothing at all.
But he doesn't understand the terminology.
And how could you stand for all people if you can't receive that simple terminology?
Right.
In Sacramento, because of Edwards and because of Ryan Colson, we had a Sikh Hindu that would come to service. And I remember one time I got up and I was preaching that Jesus died. And this lady got up and said, Jesus lives. Do you know it was that Hindu that came back to her and was like, well, didn't Jesus die? You know, he had to straighten out. But the reason he felt comfortable doing that is because he understood he was in the house of prayer for all people.
Right. And that's where that purpose comes in, according to what Mr. Cunningham tried. Oh no, he talked about the creed. What Brother Perry was just talking about, that purpose where it says irrespective of denomination or creed. But where Mr. Cunningham goes wrong is when he says we're all of it.
You don't know what you're saying. That's why you say you got all them spirits in you, Ephesians.
Yeah, it's terrible. Even for those who don't understand the Jehovah's Witness part, you won't find people in the New Testament talking about Jehovah. In the sense that when you're talking about the gospel was not to be witnesses for Jehovah. The gospel was to be witnesses for the Son of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So the disciples didn't become his Jehovah's Witnesses. The disciples became the Son's witnesses, of which we're supposed to be today. So it's just so much, again, lack of understanding.
And he said he had that lack of understanding when he said, I don't need to know about your theology. I don't care nothing about your theology. Oh, man. Study to show thyself approved. Not study so you can deliver a hot sermon.
unto God. And he don't study to deliver a sermon. I think he looks for things that he's hearing others say and try to duplicate it, but he's not understanding it. But there's a little bit left in this epistle, and there's
Right.
one part that I think you're going to enjoy. 1 second.
You must trust Jehovah. Isaiah the 26th chapter, 3rd through the 4th verse.
You must trust Jehovah. Isaiah 26th chapter, 1st to the 3rd and 4th verse.
Thou will keep him in perfect peace,
Thou will keep you in perfect peace,
whose mind is stayed on thee,
whose mind is stayed on thee,
because he trusteth in thee.
because he trusteth in thee.
Trust ye in the Lord forever.
Trust ye in the Lord forever.
For in the Lord Jehovah is everlasting strength.
For the Lord Jehovah's everlasting strength is for. Wait a minute, let me go back over that.
Because he trusted in thee. Trust ye in the Lord forever. For in the Lord Jehovah is everlasting strength. As we continue
For the Lord Jehovah's everlasting strength. End quote.
to celebrate our spiritual freedom during this holy season,
As we come forward to celebrate our spiritual freedom during this holy season,
continue in my
continue in my
words.
words, not the word of God, in my words. I'm sorry.
God said,
And draw even closer to the Lord.
And draw even closer to the Lord.
I pray
I pray that
that the Lord Jehovah
the Lord Jehovah, see, he's just reaching, he's trying too hard,
will continue to shower down his blessings upon the faithful.
will continue to shower down his blessings upon the faithful.
Much love, Daddy Cunningham.
Much love, Mr. Cunningham. Those that he will continue to shower down his blessings upon the faithful. That is to further divide the members, I've said before. By using that word faithful, he's trying to distinguish in the people's mind who's for him and who's against him.
right,
Right? And
right,
if you believe somebody's against him, then there's a silent order in there. When he said, keep my words, there's a silent order in there to shun anybody who's against Mr. Cunningham. Right? Further dividing the people. When you're doing that, how are you promoting unification? If the house of prayer is supposed to be united, and furthermore, how are you promoting the all people? Right? The gospel went out to everybody. And the whole purpose of it was to reach those who's doing wrong. But who does it sound like he's trying to reach?
those who not on his team.
There we go. Bingo. And here we go back to the 501c3, and whichever direction you want to take this, everything that he's been doing, when people who are in positions of authority look at his behavior, look at his actions, listen to his rhetoric, when he tells you, if you're going to stay in here, you're going to follow Cunningham. If not, there's the door. What have we spoken about this yet? What is your take on that?
Well, again, it goes back to the first thing I said, that, just the fact that you come out the block talking about yourself, that makes it known you don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a scriptural basis. You know, how can you put somebody outside of somebody else's house? It's not your house. According to what we're taught, as supposedly God's house. But if people don't pay attention to you, then you got to get out. They got to get out. It's just all foolishness. And that's why I say, people, y'all have to be real with yourselves. And no, you don't believe. Don't even lie about it. It's just the truth. You don't believe. If you ask yourself the question, believe what? What do you not believe? You don't even know. You don't know what you're supposed to believe because it's nonsense. Because the truth be told is, according to the faith, you're supposed to believe in Jesus Christ, but it's being skewed that you got to believe in something else.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. No, I was just agreeing with you. Mm-hmm.
And so be real with yourself. No, you don't believe. You don't even know what you're supposed to believe in. That's just the fact of the matter. And then the other fact of the matter is that he does not believe. Cunningham, you don't believe. Why? Because it don't make no sense to nobody. Nobody at all. Who are you supposed to believe in? You supposed to believe that on October 17th, 2023, something happened to you? You know for a fact nothing happened to you that day.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't transfigured. You know this for a fact. And so there's nothing wrong with the fact that you don't believe. There's nothing to believe in if you're not believing in what the faith is supposed to believe in the word of the gospel of Jesus Christ. There's nothing else to believe in if you don't believe in that. And so that's why I say, where is it written? Is it in the Constitution? Are you aware anything like that? That the bishop has to be or is the man of God? All of that. No, it's not in there. It's not definitely not written in the scripture. And so, as a not-for-profit corporation, it's time to go back and revisit the purpose. Identify the purpose. Is it still fitting for today? And please don't sit here and tell me that the purpose of this organization is to erect, establish, and maintain houses of prayer and worship. That's a lie. There's no way that that's the purpose of this organization. And this organization hasn't built anything in years. It doesn't maintain what it already has.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it has the money to, it doesn't do it. Everybody has to agree. It's time to go back and figure this out, re-identify it, come up with something that makes sense, and get rid of this foolishness that is not necessary, that nobody believes in anyhow, because there's nothing to believe in. If you say you're under the Apostolic Creed, which is nothing but the Nicene Creed, which he says, I don't need to pay no attention to your theology. Well, if the Apostolic Creed goes way back before Daddy Grace, goes way back before John Calvin, before who was it that did the Protestant, the Protestant against the Catholic Church? Martin Luther.
Martin Luther, yes. Tinsdale, Geneva, Wycliffe.
325 A.D. 325 Anno Domini. It goes back to that. And the bottom of the House of Prayer Creed, the last part, we believe in. I gotta remember. What's that?
The creed. Oh, we believe in one ruler as the leader of the kingdom of God.
The ruler of the kingdom. Yeah, you just throw that out.
And then, in fact, we didn't go there because Killingsworth wanted to go a little bit further, and I kept trying to keep my mouth shut. But what do you think about the baptism? We believe in the water baptism for the repentance of sin. I was going to go into the direction of showing that that's not what we're supposed to be believing in.
It's the remission of sin,
there
not the repentance of sin.
There you go.
You repent, and then you're baptized, and then the remission of sin. You're no longer a participant in sin. Sin is no longer anything because you already repented.
And Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No. I want to cut you off.
But he don't need to know nothing about nobody's theology. Come on.
And he talked about the water not meaning anything without the blood. And I'm like, oh my gosh. When the disciples clearly identified the water was symbolizing the fact that you're laying down your life in this world while taking on the life of the Son of God by rising up as a new creature.
That's their remission.
Yes, sir. And then in the second part, see, you brought this up in Washington, D.C. when he talked about put this on them. But there's even flaws and issues with that, which I did not know until the Spirit led me through this stuff. But in the second one, we believe in Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son, who was conceived by the Holy Ghost and crucified for the redemption of the sins of the people, so that, now people saying, okay, wait a minute, what's wrong with that? Well, at the end, it says that we believe that in him so that he went through all that he did, crucified for the redemption of the sins of the people, so that all men would have a right to the tree of life. That's the lie. That's the con. He didn't do that so all men would have a right to the tree of life. The scripture tells us this is for those who overcome. All men are not going to overcome. And this is where Revelations 28 comes, because some of the men and women are going to be cast into a place where they certainly will not have no right to the tree of life. The tree of life not going to be there. But the point of the matter is that there's still things that we can take out of the creed and show using the word that no, there's a flaw right here. Now, in my opinion, I think it was done by design to trick people. But what we just identified, what, 1, 2, 3, and there's a fourth one that I can't really get into right now, but we can touch on it because there will be people that make it in that did not receive the Holy Ghost. Right? So without going into so much detail, going back to that 501c3, this is going to be a bigger problem because when you look at the outside, how do you suppose he or anyone will be able to try to explain to anybody who looks into these matters within the organization where they try to explain, well, this is how we do it in here? Do you think that's going to fly?
No way. No. And, it's definite somebody's getting paid, because how is it? How is it flow this long?
The 501c3 gives you an exemption from paying taxes.
Taxes? Come on now.
Oh, gosh. And how long have they been getting away with this?
Right.
You telling people that you a king. You telling people that you got, first of all, a king. How are you paying a tax to somebody else? If you're a king and you're paying taxes to somebody else, then what you really are is the same thing as King Herod. You are put in a certain position. And what's that term? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it myself. I'm trying to think of it.
Tetrarch. Tetrarch.
Tetrarch.
Yes, the tetrarch. You're put there by somebody who's in a position of authority.
Above you.
Right. Just to maintain peace and order and to keep those people in submission under your thumb. That's all you're there for. It's like the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth, and King Charles now. they don't really rule. It's a symbol. They're just there as a symbol. They actually get paid. they're not writing legislation. It's just a symbol. They play an important role. But how do you explain to someone? And all of this stuff is coming to catch up. And your back is going to be against the wall, because for anybody who hears about the results of this case, well, all of the members are going to know that they've been lied to all this time.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to know. And Dolores Madison, Mrs. Madison, they're going to know that everything here has been a fraud and a scam. It's all a scam. And for the people who still right now conducting whatever with you, it really makes it that much worse the more information keeps coming out. Because now it looks like the members of the House of Prayer don't care about the Word of God. It begins to look like, well, I don't care if I'm in a lie. I don't care if the truth is that he's false and all this is fake. Well, then you stumble across that song that somebody sung, I remember in Washington, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right. And see, there's a problem, because when the wicked one tempted Jesus, how was that? Matthew 4 and 10. When the wicked one tempted Jesus out in the wilderness, again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, saith unto him, all these things I will give thee if thou wilt fall down and worship me. He said, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, him only shalt thou serve. Quoting what Moses said in Deuteronomy 6:13, to worship only. But you remember the recording where he said that it's all right to worship a man?
Right, yeah.
So I'm just saying that there's a lot of stuff that you're going to have some issues explaining when we get to this 501c3. Bottom line is the members need to understand that that's the most important thing in the House of Prayer, because that's why there is a constitution in the first place.
Right. And that's why that there is a General Assembly that has to meet once a year. That's all a part of the same thing.
And there's no getting around it, because where's that book? There's no getting around it, because your boss said that's what you have to do. The boss said it. And in the back of the Constitution, all the way at the back, it says under Article 15, Section 2, prior to a dissolution of this organization, all of the assets will be distributed for exempt purposes in accordance with Section 26 U.S. Code 501c3 of the regulations of the Internal Revenue Code.
Okay.
And that last sentence, this section shall not be amended or altered, and shall not be subject to the provisions of Article 14 dealing with amendments. That means that Uncle Sam is telling the leaders of the House of Prayer, you better not touch it. Now, anytime they're telling God what to do, then that means that whoever that God is that they're giving an order to, they can't be God.
Can't, because it's below them. They're giving orders.
Right? IRS ain't telling God what to do. So, but sir, that's what I have. Is there anything else you want to touch on or talk about with that 501 or even the General Assembly, the list of violations that he's distracting everybody away from so that he can continue going forward? Every week they got to sit in the court, and you sitting there as the Supreme in court, and then Charlotte coming up, you're going to sit in front of the entire organization as the Honorable Bishop A.D. Cunningham, knowing that everything you do is dishonorable and everything the men under you is dishonorable, that a whole council, the things are just such a mess. But to sit in a court and pass down rulings to other people, I, I don't see how they do it. How they can sit there looking at the people in their faces and do what they're doing while faking. What did we used to say? Fake the funk, right? It, I don't see how they do it. But they have 3 more weeks and 4 more council sessions. And I'll leave the ball in your hands from here. If you want to touch on that or any other thing before we close out.
Well, I'll just say again, just reiterate what I said before. First of all, there's not much I can say because people, y'all know, it's not real. It's not real. It's not valid. And it's something that's going to get somebody in a whole lot of trouble. But loved ones, again, you know you don't believe. He doesn't believe. There's nothing to believe in. And really what it is, what you're standing for, what you're so passionate about, is you are enjoying, just like quote unquote Halloween. People enjoy putting on the costumes, but you don't believe that that's a ghost, a witch, a warlock, or whatever. Christmas, people enjoy that whole thing, but you don't believe there's some fat white dude going down the chimney of your apartment building, leaving those gifts there. You don't believe that. Even this whole idea of the Christmas tree. I can't believe they have that in North Portal Drive. And it says, I believe it's in Jeremiah, 4th chapter or the 12th chapter 1. So I get those numbers mixed up.
Taking trees.
Yeah, go down the woods, cut down, because that's the way of the heathen.
Mm-hmm.
Take a axe and cut down a tree and deck it with silver and gold. They did that for a purpose because they believed that evergreen tree made the world start over, give more days. But y'all don't believe that either. So the bottom line is that 501c3 members, I'm telling y'all this, leadership, y'all got to give an account because y'all know what y'all doing. Members, that thing needs to be revisited.
Mm-hmm.
And there needs to be a real purpose come about and start being worked towards. We love this organization. And like I say, our grandparents, great-grandparents, they gave too much. They went through too much to make sure not that Cunningham's hat matches his tie and that his shoes are shiny, that his car looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
Not that. They gave that for a purpose that they believed in, that the gospel of Jesus Christ would be spread throughout the world. Throughout the world in 100 years, you ain't got out of these 50 United States. Come on now. So, loved ones, these videos, what we're doing, what we're sharing with you is because of love for you, the organization, for our parents, and the truths that are coming out are for you to take heed, to understand, no, we can't stand with that. Even the stuff about Cunningham yelling at the maids, that's fake. That's him trying to act like McCullough. The maids, young ladies who are, in their 50s and 60s today, they'll tell you McCullough would pinch them, would slap them, do all kinds of things. And then y'all get down on your knees in front of that mountain and pray and call on that name, daddy, and you don't realize you're not calling on the Christ Spirit. You're calling on that man's spirit.
Right.
I'm a witness of this. That man's spirit getting, and you wonder why you can't get along with your neighbors and people in the community. You think you're the friendliest person, but what they are seeing is that spirit of the Dark Lord, of Darth Vader.
Yes.
They're seeing that spirit come through you, and you don't even realize it.
Where he's been lifted up and puffed up. Now, there's some people,
yeah.
I'm sorry?
I just say yes. Yes.
There's some people who's going to, well, let me piggyback off of what you just said also about the individuals who's still indoctrinated. The way that he treated Mr. Wilson when he came through Virginia, that should tell you what he, not just him, because it's not just him, but Mrs. Dolores Madison, the way that they ignored Mr. Wilson's condition and the way that they ignored his dedication and his loyalty and his devotion to them, every one of those pastors, though I don't agree, they're there pushing for them. Even Mrs. Madison, she's still getting love gift. They raising gifts for her. This woman don't need nothing from nobody, and she's still taking. And they're the ones pushing this. And out of all of that man's dedication, he travels around the country as well with the council. Mr. Cunningham knows he traveled with him. And for his dedication, even with Brother Perry, for him to tell him, I'd sit you down, there's literally no appreciation whatsoever for anybody, no matter how dedicated, how devoted, or how much you're shining within this organization. Anytime he tells the entire organization, you're not going to follow me, there's the door, that means forget what you've ever done, all of your years, all of the money, all of your sweat, all of the tears, all of your work, all of the effort, all of the energy, anything that you've ever exerted in the cafeteria, in the services, on the grounds, it does not forget all of that. And the number one reason why they want people to walk out that door that disagrees with them is because the only ones that can change everything in this house of prayer are the ones who disagree with them. The only ones that can change it. And for those individuals who say that what Brother Perry was saying is not what Jeremiah is saying, it's exactly what it's saying. And in the 10th chapter of Jeremiah, in the second verse, thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen. And that's exactly what he was identifying in this chapter.
Yes.
The heathen. And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain. And this is what he's talking about with the Christmas tree and all these other things. Halloween, we got pastors putting on stuff for Halloween. Pastors putting on stuff for Easter. Any of these decorations that they're decorating Portal Drive with, all of this stuff. And then the star at the top of the decorations for Christmas at Portal Drive, the star has his picture in it.
What?
Yeah. You didn't know that? That star in the middle of the front of the house?
You know, I've never been to Portal Drive. Never, ever in my life.
Oh, wow. Wow. The pictures, matter of fact, let me see and pull one up. The pictures at Portal Drive, when you look at the pictures, if you zoom in on, there's a star at the top of the front of the roof. Inside the middle of that star is him, whoever the bishop is. That means you're literally taking the glory away from the one that they say is the reason for the season, which he's not, right? But they say he is. And if your picture's in a star, now I know the scripture says that the wise men followed his star, but he was not the star. It simply was a guide for them to follow to where he was. But there's one that the scripture does refer to as a star who fell. And
Mhm.
these,
That morning star.
that morning star. And we got a band that the leader even named Sons of the Morning.
Mm. And that foolishness, I don't need to know your theology. Yes, you do need to know it so you would know how ignorant it is for you to name the band that.
Oh, gosh. It's so bad. And it says, for the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold.
Mm.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers that it move not. Now, we know that this is actually talking about the carving of a tree in order to form an image, a god. And then they're going to overlay it with silver or with gold and other stones to decorate and make their god look good that they're overlaying this wood with. We know that. We get that. However, this scripture still applies because the fourth verse explains exactly what they do with trees when they have this season come around every year, what they refer to as Christmas. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers at the base, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not. Now we know that's talking about an idol. But when you take these trees and put them in houses and whatnot, at this time of year, what the wicked one has deceived and tricked people into doing is to do exactly what the scripture is saying here in Jeremiah. The only difference is you're not carving that pine tree into an image. You're cutting it, you're bringing it into your home, you're still decorating it, you're taking part in something that is vain customs. It's what heathens do. It's paganistic. And this is the point that Brother Perry is making. And they must needs be born because they cannot go.
Because they cannot go.
Mhm.
You know what? I'm sorry. This is
No, you're good.
Awful. In the Quran, there's a story of Abraham when he was a little boy. His father was an idol worshiper. And it said, like, behind their house, he had all of these idols, large ones, small ones, that they would make with their hands. And one day, Abraham, as a little boy, went out into that yard, that area where all those idols were, and he took a hammer and started crushing them out, just breaking them all up. And his father, what was it, Tammuz? What was his father? I can't remember. But his father heard it, and he went to go find out what the noise was. But Abraham didn't destroy the biggest idol that was in there. He took the hammer and put the hammer in the idol's hand. And his father came around and saw Abraham in that area with all, boy, what have you done? What have you done? He said, I didn't do nothing. He said, you have, look at, you have crushed all of these idols. Abraham said, it wasn't me. Then the father said, well, who was it? He said, well, you see that idol there with the hammer in his hand? And he said, but he can't get up and go. And Abraham said, then why are you worshiping him?
Right. Yeah, terror. Yeah.
Terror.
But it goes to show the foolishness as you're identifying. You're going to fall down to something that has no power.
Right.
And this is what the members are doing who keep defending the leaders of the house of prayer, who's doing nothing whatsoever for you except either they're making you broke or they're keeping you broke.
Right.
Taking all the money and telling you to go out when you don't have no more. Go and sell milk and cookies. Sell some lemonade. Some way, somehow, sell tickets. And it's funny because this is supposed to be God's service. But what do you see whenever you go to a service, a house of prayer, and the leader is present? Everybody everywhere is selling.
Yeah.
including in the service.
That's right.
This is a service of God. People walking around while you sitting there trying to hear, whether it's singing or whether it's speakers, and people walking around waving their hands to sell DVDs, CDs, literature, pictures, ribbons. It's just a joke.
Commerce. Just a
Yes,
city of commerce.
making merchandise of his people, which I have said now that no, the Lord not talking about that United House of Prayer for All People. He's not saying making commerce of you, his people, because the United House of Prayer for All People are not the people of God.
Mm-mm.
People of God are all aware, anywhere around the world that are believers in his son. And you have some that truly believe in him that don't yet know to believe in his son. And to those, the gospel is being sent. Right now, did you know that Munich, Germany, Australia, France, Italy, you got millions of people taken to the streets calling on Jesus?
Mm.
Matter of fact, all around the world. And what are we doing in the house of prayer?
Calling on Daddy.
And ain't nobody going outside anywhere to tell anybody anything about Jesus.
Nothing. And they say it's because they believe in Daddy, but you ain't telling nobody about him either.
At all.
Mm-mm.
The spiritual revolution. And this is all around the world. People all around the world. Look at the people, millions of people downtown in these various countries calling on Jesus. And many people even converting. And look at what they're talking about. United we stand, divided we fall. And there's people who are coming together in the name of Jesus to take power away from their governments. Because they understand that the governments are leading them into satanic worship. And so people are coming together and overthrowing governments, literally around the world. There was one country where they got rid of the prime minister, and the people, I mean, look at this. This is an aerial shot. People, it doesn't even look like people. They covered the streets everywhere. But the people got rid of the prime minister, and they got rid of the prime minister and their city council, and then they got rid of their on the tip of my tongue, the parliamentary. There's a what they call a Congress is something else in this particular country, but they got rid of them. The people came together and they voted others into office to represent the people and do the job that they're supposed to do, and no longer have any backdoor secret meetings where they have a hidden agenda. Right now, I just saw the time, but they just released down in Florida, I think it's 750,000 mosquitoes that are modified, genetically modified.
What?
And it was a press release on this, and they told the residents about it. But people are wondering, what in the world is going on? And as people wondered about this, they got in touch with the city officials, and they said, well, this is something that we had voted on, and there's a purpose for it, and we find that it's necessary and it's beneficial for the environment, but they did not give a whole lot of other detail. But the people are saying that for you all to do these things that we don't know anything about that's going to impact and affect us and our children is a problem. I raised that issue because in the United House of Prayer for All People, Mr. Cunningham said in Washington, D.C., convocation, he said, we've always had nothing but one leader. There's never been no committee of people. There's never been no group of people deciding anything. There's always been one person making all the decisions and the people sitting there and agreeing to this nonsense only because these are people who truly do not understand what he's saying. And we have people who are not listening and paying attention, which is why on the channel now we're picking apart what he's saying and explaining it, because he's taking advantage of our ignorance. What we don't know is what allowing them to continue getting away with this stuff. So what he said was, we should not be doing nothing in no General Assembly and putting anything to no vote that requires anything that I don't think that y'all need to know. And since it's always been that way, we're going to keep on going that way. And I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And ain't nobody needing to know anything about whatever. That's a problem for Mr. IRS.
Right. That's why I want to say, well, then get rid of the 501c3 and give Mr. IRS all these years of taxes that you owe and be free of it. Going about your business.
Yeah. So, with that said, we're gonna see how this turns out. We didn't mean to go this far, but y'all already know it happens. And here we are, 3 hours later.
Oh no, well, for real?
Yeah. But with that said, everybody, I had intended for this to be maybe an hour, 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 tops. But y'all already know this is how it is. So, sir, I want to say thank you for your time, and especially for this much of your time. And people don't understand how we can just talk and it takes up so much time. But as he said in the other recording, this is what we do anyway.
Right. It's going to happen.
And you all are just, invited to take part and listen in. And the hope is that you will learn as we talk about things that even we didn't know about until we learned about it. So now that we know, the hope is for us to bring it to you all so that y'all will stop going through the motions of keeping the people in charge who's doing pretty much the same thing as the ones who are deciding to let out 750,000 mosquitoes.
Absolutely. Wow.
Right? And you don't know nothing about any decision making that they're doing or why. And they want to keep it that way so that they can keep driving in these different Maybachs.
Right.
Right? While we get another Uber or a bus pass.
Right.
But, sir, again, I thank you. Is there any last thing you want to say before we head out?
Just, I thank you. I love you. I'm thankful for what you're doing, for, standing, like they say, 10 toes down and just continuing at it. I'm grateful. And I'm grateful because there was dealing with this, what I'm dealing with, I'm not teaching no more. I'm not making music no more. And at the time I was thinking to myself, what is my purpose in life? And this is like, I feel like it's reawaken the purpose in me, which is, this is my culture. This is my tribe. Stand up. As the leaders have told us before, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything.
Yes,
and
sir.
I just feel like they was giving us a hint. hint. Stand for something or you will fall for anything. Hint.
Knowing what they were doing.
You're right.
And how many times did you hear him say, even if you have to stand by yourself, stand?
Even if you got to stand by yourself, that's right.
Well, here we are. Well, sir, we love you. I thank you again. And it won't be much longer, everybody. He'll be back. There may be some things on here that kind of got away from us. So if you see anything, don't charge it to our head. And if there's something, especially that you guys see that you really don't understand, just comment about it. Ask questions. He's on the channel often. I'm on there back and forth. Whenever I see it, I'll get back to it. Sometimes it's taken me about 2 or 3 days to comment, but just put them in the comments. Somebody else might answer. But if not, then I will get to it eventually. But thank you all, everybody. I know it's long. Cut it up in parts and just get back to it. But that said, we'll see you in the next video.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. We love y'all.
Yes, sir. We love you.